and this bill basically frees that up to give us the success that we had. And I think I see Jennifer and Tracy, who were with us at the Health and Human Services hearing. Those ladies have 18 years and 13 years combined fighting MS, sitting next to Representative Rick Hardcastle, who Lord knows has how many years. Only Senator Whitmire, Dean Whitmire, has more years than Rick Hardcastle, in service. But they have been fighting MS, and through the use of adult stem cells, their own stem cells, you can see, and why don't you stand up and wave to the crowd, because I want to show you how spry you ladies are this morning, okay? And that their therapies are working. And I just want to speak from the heart here today. We get a chance to pass a lot of legislation, but it is also the coolest, but also the greatest responsibility that we have when we can pass legislation that will save lives and extend people's lives, and also give them, in this case, treatments for severe chronic illness or terminal illness. And with that, Mr. President, I move suspension of order of business on House Bill 810.
Senator, you reach people with purpose.
Will the gentleman yield for a few questions, please?
Absolutely.
Senator yield.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Bettencourt, I know you put a lot of work into this bill, and it's come before Senator Schwartner's committee, the Health and Human Services Committee, and my dear friend Representative Hardcastle is up there as well. And the testimony I would submit to you, members, was compelling. But nonetheless, this bill still is somewhat a leap of faith, if you will. And there were two amendments that were offered in the committee, I think it was last week, when we voted on this bill. And I thought they were very good amendments. Senator Van Taylor had an amendment, and I believe Senator Watson.
Well, Senator Watson, but Senator Schwartner had
the other amendment. And that was what made me more comfortable with the bill. The reason I voted aye, and the bill passed, unanimously out of the committee. And so my question to you, one, first of all, thank you for the work you've done on this bill. And two, is it your intent to keep those two amendments on as this bill goes?
It is absolutely my intent to keep those two amendments on when we go through conference. Senator Taylor and I will talk about the amendment. One, we are using a reference to a federal statute that may be substituted out for the exact language of the statute in conference, because we haven't had time to get that far with it. But Senator Schwartner's amendment on liability is a must, because these providers have to be held liable in the case that they make a mistake. But more importantly, the review boards that we're setting up, the institutional review board oversight, and Senator Taylor's amendment makes the bill much stronger. And I think it's going to be a great model for both hospital, institutional review boards, as well as medical review boards in the area.
Okay. And that's good to know. And again, I don't want to speak for the other members on the committee, but I think most of us voted to move this bill forward, knowing those two amendments were going to go on and would stay on. So thank you very much, and thank you for your hard work, Senator.
No, and thank you for taking the leap of faith, too, Senator Risky.
Senator Bettencourt moves suspension of the regular order of business on House Bill 810. Is there objection? Hearing none, the rules are suspended. Lays down on second reading House Bill 810.
House Bill 810, related provision of certain investigational stem cell treatments to patients with certain severe chronic diseases or terminal illnesses.
Following amendment. Secretary will read the amendment.
Amendment number 1 by Schwartner, amend House Bill number 810 in Section 3 of the bill.
Senator Schwartner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this bill, as currently drafted, has a provision that states the bill does not create a cause of action. This amendment simply removes that provision. I'd like to thank the sponsor, Senator Bettencourt, for working with me on this amendment, and is, I believe, acceptable to the author. Move adoption.
Senator Bettencourt on the amendment.
The amendment is acceptable to the author, the sponsor. Thank you.
Is there objection to the adoption of the amendment? Chair is none, so adopted. Following amendment, Secretary will read the amendment.
Floor Amendment Number 2 by Taylor and Collin, amend House Bill 810 as follows.
Senator Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this amendment is a result, I think it's actually 12 drafts in the making. I really appreciate all the work of the stakeholders, Senator Betancourt, Senator Schwertner, your staffs, in coming up with this. We really wanted to do three things, very simply. We wanted to make sure that we had the right people doing this, doing the right places, and you've got the right supervision. This is an investigational therapy. It is, in some people's minds, unproven. Therefore, we want to make sure that the application of it is done in such a way that it can really benefit other Texans and other Americans, other human beings. And so what we did is we've asked for this to be done by doctors. They have to be certified by an institutional review board, which is established by federal statute. And then in turn, as they're certified, they can actually conduct the therapy in any of the thousands of ambulatory surgical units across the state of Texas, at any medical school, or in any hospital. The IRB has to be at a medical school or at a larger hospital, a hospital that has a minimum, I believe, of 150 beds. And finally, on an annual basis, we are asking that each of the IRBs create reports, annual reports on the efficacy and successes that they're having with this treatment, so that knowledge can be transferred. So we can figure out if this is doing a really great job with multiple sclerosis and maybe not as good a job with diabetes. So I think that this is important because this is not yet approved by the FDA, but there's a lot of people that have a lot of faith in this, and I think it creates a standard of care that is something that we can all be proud as a Senate. I'm very grateful to my colleague, Senator Betancourt and Senator Schwertner, for working to come together to craft a solution that I believe is the right solution to create hope for people who find this therapy to be something that can really change their lives.
Senator Betancourt.
I just want to say that Senator Van Taylor did so much work today. I think we did at least half a dozen drafts today alone. I want to thank Michelle for helping out with that as well. And more importantly, I want to say that the end product of the work of having these institutional review boards is important. Members, you just have to understand the permutations, the possibilities of stem cell therapies where your own adult stem cells are harvested and then processed and then re-injected is astonishing. And I know Dr. Campbell, Dr. Schwartner knows what type of therapies. Well, we don't know everything, but we know there is a tremendous sea change occurring here. And I just want to say, Senator Taylor did so much work that he accepted being a co-author on the bill. And I want to thank Senator Perry, Senator Burton, and Senator Lucio. And I just want to say that green card opportunities still exist. See the tax man here at the table. With that, the amendment is acceptable.
Is there objection to adoption of the amendment? Chair is none, so adopted. Senator Betancourt is recognized for a motion.
Mr. President, I move passage of House Bill 810 to third reading.
Is there objection? Hearing none. House Bill 810 is passed to third reading. Senator Betancourt is recognized for a motion to suspend the constitutional 3-day rule.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the constitutional rule that bills be read on 3 several days.
Secretary will call the roll.
Betancourt, Birdwell, Buckingham, Burton, Campbell, Creighton,
Three,
Gibson.
one aye, no nays. The rules are suspended. Chair lays out on third reading the final passage House Bill 810. Secretary will read the caption.
Bill 810, relating to provision
Senator
of certain.
Betancourt.
Mr. President, I move final passage of House Bill 810, and into the 21st century we go.
Senator Menendez for a purpose.
I'd like to just make a brief statement to the author. I'd like to thank him, and just something I've been watching. I'd like to, if it's okay.
Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. The bit court. I don't necessarily the speech that you made. I know what you and your family are going through. And you know what the battle, the struggle that my family and I go through, and I know the one that you have. And there are a lot of Texans that will benefit from this. A lot of people who need some hope and need it done right. And on behalf of my family, on behalf of my children, on behalf of my wife, I want to thank you for providing to make this happen. I look forward to being able to bring more Texans some significant relief, something that hopefully can change their life and give them the quality of their life back. Some of these diseases that just don't have cures, all you want is to be able to have a little quality of life so that you can be there with your family. And so I want to say thank you. Sometimes in this process, you hate getting your hopes up. You hate falling in love with words on a piece of paper. Words on this piece of paper will make a difference in people's lives. And I want to say thank you to you, and I want to say thank you to our president, and I want to say thank you to this body for making this possible, and to Tan and to Drew. Thank you all for doing what you're doing. Thank you, Mr. President.
If I could, Mr. President, I want to say, Senator Menendez, we all see you commute every day. Spend more time on the road than it takes to get me to Houston. But you love life, and you love your wife. And this stem cell research possibility, if God is with us, Senator Lucio, is going to grant her some extra time and some extra quality of life. I know it in my heart. I knew it when I saw Drew Springer on that one night, in a tough night, give a fantastic speech that woke everybody to the possibilities of what Representative Parker was already carrying, which was adult stem cells and the possibilities for life. Because we all have a zest for life. And we have a God-given and a spark of humanity to follow it. And there's nothing better than seeing Rick Hardcastle, those ladies up there with a positive, with such a fantastic life that they have now compared to what it was like. And I pray that your wife joins them.
Appreciate that. I think for all of those Texans that are suffering from MS and just don't know how it's going to change their lives, how it's going to impact them, and so many other diseases, I want to thank you all for your hard work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Secretary will call the roll.
Bettencourt, Birdwell. Birdwell, Buckingham, Burton, Campbell, Creighton, Estes, Garcia, Hall, Hancock, Hinojosa, Huffine, Huffman, Hughes, Colcourt, Lucio, Menendez, Miles, Nelson, Nichols, Terry, Rodriguez, Schwertner, Gallagher, Taylor of Galveston, Taylor of Collins, Uresti, Watson, West, Whitmire, Van Marine.
There being 31 ayes and no nays, the bill is finally passed.
President members,